UFC Freedom 250 was announced on Saturday at the White House South Lawn. Is this the biggest fight card of all time? Or is it just a bust? I'll let you know my thoughts. I'm going to give you my predictions for how I see each and every single one of these fights going. But this is an amazing card, really from top to bottom, the opening fight to the main event. Really thoughtful matchmaking. These are the fights that needed to be made, just not for the White House. Not for the White House, not appropriate. I'll give you my reasons for why, and then also the UFC fumbled 3 big fights. There were 3 clear fights that should have been made and put on this card. Instead, we got Zahabi and O'Malley, but I'm going to get into it. We'll start with the first fight, I'll end with the main event, and then I'll get into the 3 fights I thought the UFC should have made. Please give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know what you think should have been on this card. Let me know what you think of what was announced. And without further ado, let's dig into this. Let's start with the very first fight on this White House card, and that is Diego Lopes versus Steve Garcia. Yes, everybody's favorite Mexican, Brazilian, American fighter Diego Lopes is defending his ranking after losing to Volkanovski for the second time, his second attempt for the belt. He's going to defend his ranking against Steve Garcia. When I first saw this fight on Saturday, I didn't know how I felt about it. I think I was upset a little bit just because I really didn't like the next fight. But after thinking about it and looking into it a little bit more and realizing Steve Garcia is actually the highest ranked American fighter in the featherweight division outside of Aljamain Sterling, it made me a little bit more excited for it, especially Steve Garcia. All of his wins except for one in the UFC, which is like about 10 or so, have all been knockouts. He's knocked out 4 in his last 5 opponents. The only time he's been finished, I think, was via submission. Let's give that a... Yeah, he's been knocked out once and submitted once. Check that out. So his grappling is going to get tested this fight. I think it's a great matchup. 2 ranked fighters going at it in the top 10 in the featherweight division. Kick off the card. And maybe an American could get a W here. But Diego Lopes could possibly submit him. I think his grappling game's pretty solid. But I'm going to go with Diego Lopes. Yeah, I'm going to go with Diego Lopes to defend his ranking against Steve Garcia. But you never know. Steve Garcia's got wild hands. That's a fun fight. I don't mind that one opening up the White House card. And we'll move on to the next fight. Bo Nickal is taking on Kyle Daukaus for the second fight on the White House card. These are the only 2 fighters on the entire card out of all, 12 fighters that aren't ranked. Neither of these fighters are ranked. Now, this is a kind of a fun matchup, though. Kyle Daukaus, since his return to the UFC, he's 2-0 with 2 finishes over decent guys in the middleweight division. Michel Pereira knocks him out and then submits Gerard Meerschaert, of all people, who is the submission guy. Daukaus has some really slick grappling, really great submission attacks, and that could give Bo Nickal some problems if he's not careful, if he's successful with his takedowns, if that's what Bo Nickal chooses to do, which is the other thing. Bo Nickal just... You don't know what you're going to get with him. Now, he did look really good in his last fight against Rodolfo Vieira. Put him out cold in the 3rd round in a fight he dominated. So he made some adjustments in that fight. But sometimes you just don't see him do what you'd expect him to do. Like in the Paul Craig fight, he just struck with him the entire time. Was that Paul Craig? Yeah, it was Paul Craig. And it's just like Bo Nickal... I don't know, with this being at the White House card, apparently he's Donald Trump's favorite UFC fighter. By the way, this card is on Donald Trump's birthday, ironically enough, so maybe that had something to do with Bo Nickal getting on to this card. But I think this is a great matchup for Bo Nickal. The winner of this fight should get a ranked opponent in the middleweight division, and I want to go with Bo Nickal because I got the sweater on, you know what I'm saying? But Kyle Daukaus, I think, is levels ahead in the striking. I'm gonna go with Kyle Daukaus, and I'm wearing a Bo Nickal sweater. Jeez, this is going to age well. We'll move on to the next fight. Mauricio Ruffy is taking on Michael Chandler, everybody's favorite fighter in the UFC. Michael Chandler, who's only had 2 wins. I think he's like 2-5. I think he's had 7 fights or something like that in the UFC. Not impressive. He's the one that took prime Tony Ferguson away from us. That was the last time Chandler's won a fight, I believe. But yeah, this fight, it's not Ruffy's fault, but he doesn't belong in this card. And Michael Chandler does not belong in this card. But at least we're not getting Colby Covington. This is like a name brand Colby Covington. It's Michael Chandler. Slightly more, he's more exciting to watch. But geez, what is he doing in the UFC? What the fuck is Chandler doing on this fucking card? I am convinced Michael Chandler has dirt on Dana White. I'm convinced Michael Chandler has some screenshots of Dana White doing something he shouldn't have been doing. Maybe some pictures, some Snapchats. Michael Chandler, maybe Dana was on Epstein's island. Michael Chandler knows about it, and he's threatening every day, like, hey, Dana, if you don't put me on this White House card, I'm really going to tell the FBI about this. I don't know what Michael Chandler has on Dana, but that is the only reason I can possibly think of why he's on this card. This should be a knockout win for Ruffy. That should get the Americans fired up for the White House card. America's 250th birthday year. Let's do that. Yeah, this should be an easy win for Ruffy. I think he'll knock Michael Chandler out. We'll move on to the next fight. An amazing fight. This is the fight everybody's been calling for. Sean O'Malley's taking on Aiemann Zahabi. Who? You might be asking, who's that again? Aiemann Zahabi. Sean O'Malley. South Lawn of the White House. What other fight is there to make? Umar Nurmagomedov? Why? Sean O'Malley would easily defend all the takedowns against Umar. He does well against all wrestlers except for Merab. Corey Sandhagen was the fight to make here. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I don't know why. The UFC completely dropped the ball here. Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley was the match to make, but we get Zahabi. This is an insurance fight. There's no other way to put it. This is in case Steve Garcia gets submitted, when Michael Chandler gets knocked out, and when Justin Gaethje gets put to sleep, flatline KO'd in the first round, just like he was with 1 second left at UFC 300. We're going to get that, by the way. Spoiler alert. But this is an insurance fight, so, you know, it's a classic American beat up on the Canadian. Layup fight for Sean. Classic offering, insurance fight. I got O'Malley to win a decision. Hopefully he knocks out Zahabi, but does it even matter? No, it doesn't. We move on to a fight that actually belongs on this card. This fight is worthy of belonging on this card, even though neither fighter is American. We're getting Alex Pereira's heavyweight debut in the UFC for the interim heavyweight belt against Ciryl Gane, the eye poker. Isn't that funny how my eye started itching right whenever I said Ciryl Gane? Right when I said Ciryl Gane, I had something in my eye. And now it's gone, Tom Aspinall. But this is a great fight for Alex Pereira. This is a historic fight. It puts Alex in the GOAT conversation. I don't really care what anybody says, whether it's an interim belt or not. Ciryl Gane, it's not John Jones, it's not Tom Aspinall. This is a historic fight. Belongs on a historic card like this one. And Alex Pereira could be the UFC's first time triple division champ in 3 different weight classes: middleweight, light heavyweight, and now heavyweight. It would be funny. I think I was watching the Guru, MMA Guru. He said it would be interesting if Ciryl Gane pokes Alex Pereira, and then Alex Pereira does the thing with Herb Dean where he says, no, I'm fine, and then flatline just puts Ciryl Gane to sleep with a right hook. This is a great fight. It's a great matchup stylistically. We'll get into some of the other fight was John Jones and Alex Pereira. I'll get into that in a minute, but other than that, I mean, well, even without that, this is the best, most winnable fight for Alex Pereira to get a belt at heavyweight. Stylistically, it matches up with them perfectly. They have almost identical records. They're both strikers. Ciryl Gane, we might see a little bit of wrestling from Ciryl Gane. More of a natural heavyweight. Maybe he tries to use his mask to try to get Pereira down, but I don't see him doing what he doesn't do best. I think this is going to be like a kickboxing fight on the feet, and Alex Pereira is going to knock out Ciryl Gane in the first round and win gold in heavyweight. So, Tom Aspinall says he wants the winner of this fight, so we're probably going to get Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall later down the line, maybe at the end of the year in Abu Dhabi or something crazy, if the Rockets stop hitting, that is. But I got Alex Pereira winning this fight. This is the most winnable fight. It is funny how Ciryl Gane always gets the opportunities that Tom Aspinall wishes he could have, like fighting John Jones, fighting Alex Pereira, fighting on the White House card even. And just so many opportunities to win a belt Ciryl Gane's had. And you see he just isn't that good at being a successful fighter. We'll move on to the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje to unify the lightweight division. Wow, this is a huge fight. Everybody's pretty much expecting Justin Gaethje to get knocked out. It's probably going to happen. I'm going to go with Ilia to win this fight, and I'm going to be hoping it's the opposite. This is the opportunity to pull off one of the biggest upsets. This is like I mean, no, I'm not even gonna say that. This would be one of the biggest upsets of all time, but on a stage like this would be the upset of the century. Everybody's expecting Ilia Topuria to win this fight. Nobody's making a case for Justin Gaethje anywhere. They're counting him out, a lot like they did with the Patty fight, but of course, rightfully so, a lot worse now. I want to go with Justin Gaethje to win this fight. I'm going to be rooting for him, but my brain is telling me Ilia Topuria 100%. He's coming off of a divorce. He's going to take all of that out on Justin. We all know what to expect on this fight, but this card is a great card. This is a really great card. You put this on any numbered event, this could be, with the exception of the Bo Nickal fight, that really doesn't belong there. Michael Chandler could be literally any other ranked opponent in the division, and then Zahabi, at least we're going to get a beatdown. But this is a great card. It could be the best card of the year, but it does not belong on the White House card. The White House card doesn't happen every year. It shouldn't just be the best card of the year on the White House card. It should be the best card of the century. And the UFC missed on 3 big fights here. The first is, and they would never do this, especially with all the censoring going on right now, but Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev, right? Or Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov 2, title eliminator, all right? Because we're probably not going to see Khamzat for like 3 more years. His country's getting bombed right now. But, you know, if it wasn't, and if Khamzat was actually an active fighter, we would still have to rule out Nasruddin getting it or Strickland getting it, which I believe a lot more people believe Sean rightfully deserves another shot for the belt, but you'd be surprised. Nasruddin Imavov versus Sean Strickland. I want to hear Sean Strickland on the mic in front of all the APAC donors in that crowd. And that was a big miss for the UFC. Khamzat, the classic America versus the terrorists, they could sell it as, you know, how they like to advertise. So, you know, the big miss for them. Big miss for them. The promos could have been wild, but we'll move on. I mentioned it. I hinted at it already. But Alex Pereira should be fighting Jon Jones. The UFC should have rolled the carpet out for Jon Jones. They should have paid him what he wanted. Dana said in the press conference that Jones wasn't even in negotiations. They were never going to consider him for this fight. Jones countered that the next day, almost instantly on Twitter, actually, after the press conference, saying that he was in the middle of negotiations with the UFC. So it sounds like they just didn't want to pay him because this is going to line up to be the most expensive card, I believe, of all time. So they probably just didn't want to shell out the extra money. So that's why we're getting Ciryl Gane. And if you're an Alex Pereira fan, you should be happy that you're getting Ciryl Gane as well. But that's a miss the UFC could have made. Big miss. And the last fight that I believe the UFC missed here is this Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen fight. I already said it earlier in the video, but I watched the MMA Guru and Sean O'Malley White House card coverage video on YouTube just to see if Sean O'Malley, and the question came up about him ducking Corey Sandhagen, and it was just, he said, oh, the UFC just never really offered me the fight. It was obvious. Bro, like, if you call him out. He's calling you out. Just talk the shit back. He's just downplaying it, not giving it Corey's call-outs any attention on social media. He's trying to avoid Cody at all costs. And that was a fight the UFC should have booked. They should have asked O'Malley. Apparently, they did not ask O'Malley if he wanted to fight Sandhagen. They asked him if he wanted to fight Zahabi. And, of course, O'Malley, being the collector that he is going to take that offering. Those are my thoughts on the UFC White House card, my predictions for every single one of the fights. Please let me know what you think of this card. Is it a great card? What do you rate it on a scale 1 to 10? Does it belong at the White House? Let me know what fights you would have made below. Leave me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I will see you on my next video. Thanks for watching.